Have you ever found yourself working on a design and it just feels like it's missing something? It's just not quite there yet, so you're just like throwing a bunch of solutions at it and hoping something sticks? I know I've been there. I think we've all felt that bit of insecurity in our work before, because that's really what's happening here. We are lacking the confidence in a project, and so we tend to overthink it, which leads to over-designing. And you've probably heard that whole cliche phrase that less is more. Simple design is good design, when really that's just not the case. Simplicity isn't so much an art style, and you might think that because a lot of graphic designers try to mimic simplicity when really they don't know what they're doing. And hey, neither do I, because to really understand what simplicity is, you need to do an insane amount of work, but confidently, because that's the key. Confidence is key because when I look at all of the work of the designers that I look up to, I don't just see really cool looking designs. I see, well, really I envy the designs that they do, because I can see all of those little smart decisions that they made in their work. That's the point that I want to get at one day in my career, because I know all the tools. I know Photoshop and Illustrator inside out, but that doesn't make me a good designer. Anyone can learn how to use Photoshop or Illustrator completely for free online, but it's how you use those tools and the decisions you make in those software and in your designs that make a good design. So now I want to show you a prime example of what I'm talking about here. I want to show you an actual client project that I worked on last year, where I was feeling very insecure about the design, which led me to over-designing, over-complicating it. But eventually I was able to reiterate and step back a bit and get the design approved. So let's hop on the computer and let me break it down for you. Last year, I designed a tour t-shirt for Max Schneider's Meteor Tour. And for the project, I was given the ad mat, which had the sort of graphic elements and colors so that I could stay on brand with it, and as well as a photo to work with. So this is what I initially came up with. It was Max with his name and the sort of connect the dots star pattern over it. But this is kind of when my insecurity started to kick in. I didn't know if this was good enough, so I thought maybe if I spent more time on it, I could improve it, which, spoiler alert, is so wrong. The more time you spend on a design doesn't make it more valuable, doesn't really necessarily improve it. And chances are, if you think you need to add to something, you might be feeling insecure about it, which isn't going to help the design in the end. So I knew at this point that my insecurities are kind of kicking in, and so I added a bunch to it, and this is what I had come up with. I added this weird background graphic to it to try to tie it all in to fit the front better. And you can see it sort of muddily connects his name to his face to the Meteor graphic I came up with, and then the Meteor Tour name. I knew that this was bad, so I just put it aside and I worked on something for the back, going with the tour dates. So I reincorporated that Meteor graphic over his name with the tour name and the dates. This didn't even tie into the front at all. I wasn't feeling this layout either. I again went back to the front graphic to try and fix it. So I removed that ugly, weird background pattern, and I made it so the name didn't blend in with his face or anything. So it's just Max, the photo, the Meteor, and the tour name. And I thought this was pretty good. It looked way better than what I had come up with. And so I took this and tried to incorporate it more into the back. So now the back had two colors. I redid the layout so it fit the back so much better, and it just had a subtle use of that Meteor graphic. And this is what I sent to the client. They emailed me back and said that it's not quite there yet. They weren't really feeling it. They're wondering if I could do anything to just try and improve it and make it better. And instead of taking a personal hit, I just had to take a deep breath. I read over the brief again just to refresh my mindset on the project, and I went back to work to try to save this design. So I stripped everything from the front graphic. So it's just Max's face and that star pattern. And so I went to the back and I redid the layout entirely again, making the tour dates all in one column. So this fits the whole back, where his name is nice, big over the shoulders. It's still pretty clean. It has those 3 color elements from the Tour branding, and I finally incorporated the texture on this back graphic, which I didn't do in the last round, which was my fault, which is a dumb mistake. And so to help tie in the new back graphic into the front, I took this bounding box around the tour dates and put it around the graphic. So now the front also has all 3 of those colors, the purple, that yellow, gold, and the white. And so now the back and the front really tie in together. This is what I sent back to them, and it immediately got approved. I learned so much from that one single project, so that on future projects, I could apply all those mistakes I had learned from. And it's those little things like that that add up over the years that start giving you a sense of confidence. And again, like I said earlier in the video, simplicity is not an art style. It's about having confidence in your work. And some of my best designs are some of the simplest. And just because it's simple or might have taken me 20 minutes to design doesn't mean it's crap or that it's cheap. I'm not here, although I might have thought this at first, but I'm not here to try and please my peers, other designers. I'm not here to impress them. I'm here to impress and to help my clients. Here's another example of a very simple collegiate design I did for Matthew West. It's super simple, but it makes one heck of a comfy sweater. And to give you a final example, this is a t-shirt I designed for Bailey White. You can see that it's very simple in its concept, and that it's just text on the t-shirt with a very subtle texture to it. It's still, this simple design makes for a cool t-shirt that her fans are gonna want to grab at her next show. All right, so what's the secret to improving as a graphic designer? And really, it's gonna be cliche, but the honest truth is just you have to do as much work as possible. Even if you don't have any client work, you need to be creating something. You could design something for yourself, design something for your favorite band, make up your own company and design something for it. You just need to be creating, because the only thing that will keep you fired up is through learning new things and applying it to your next project. I'm now in a place where all I want to do is go to work for my clients. I want to just design as much as possible, learn absolutely everything I can to improve. I mean, it's what I love to do. It's why I can't stay consistent with these videos, because client work will always be my priority for years to come. So if you want the honest truth on how to get better, it's just keep creating no matter what. Also, by creating as much work as possible, you can then figure out what type of work you enjoy doing most. So if you aren't sure of what kind of area of work you love to do, just do everything. You can literally just try everything and until you start figuring out what you obsess over. And then once you figure out what you obsess over, you can really dig deep into it and do as much of that work as possible so you can just keep improving as a designer. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know for me, here on YouTube, there aren't a lot of other designers that share real world client work. So I hope you enjoyed this video where I did show you a real project, and that's something I hope to do more of in my videos. A lot of my projects are covered under some sort of NDA or doesn't really go public for months. So when I can, I'm going to try to show real projects and not just some lame arbitrary design. If you found anything useful in this video, hit that like button, and if you aren't already, subscribe. It's totally free. That's all I've got for you. Thanks for sticking around and watching this video. Now, let's get back to work.